Welcome back to On Main Street here at MMTV 360 Main Street, Melrose, Massachusetts. I'm your host, Mike Miner, sitting in with two phenomenal future and in some ways current public servants serving in the United States military. It's great to see both of you here today. Let's go around the table and introduce ourselves.
Hi, I'm Wallace Sizza from Boston, Mass.
Wallace, great to see you.
Hi, I'm Nadia Shumakov, also from Boston.
Nadia, welcome. So we're here today to talk a little bit about the Naval Academy, the process. What does that look like? Because there's a lot of folks I know in Melrose and around the area that are very interested in what, how do you get involved? How do you apply? What does service look like today in 2022? So I'd like to start with talking to Wallace and Nadia a little bit about their experience growing up here in Melrose or the Boston area and their background. So Wallace, let's start with you. Where are you from originally?
So I'm originally from Boston. I grew up in the inner city. I went to school in Dorchester. So I went through there. Grew up down the street from the Garden, so it was nice. Kind of always being involved in that area.
So you're a Celtics man?
Oh yeah, big Celtics fan. Big Celtics, Bruins.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, always, yeah.
Great. And you went to school where for high school?
I went to Boston Collegiate Charter School in Dorchester.
And as you were growing up, did you have any inclinations that this is something you would want to do?
I definitely always, I had, service on my mind. My father's a cop in Boston. Been that way for decades now. So I grew up around, service. My grandfathers both were in the Army. So definitely was always something that I saw growing up. I knew I wanted to do something like that. And then, after the marathon bombings and when I was younger, seeing that kind of cemented with me early on that I was like, this is the path I want to go down. So ended up doing it.
Amazing. And Nadia, you're from the area too. So where did you grow up originally?
I grew up in West Roxbury, and I went to Boston Latin School, high school, and I never really knew that this is what I wanted to do until I started to look for colleges, and I stumbled upon it kind of, and then I Googled it. I was like, oh, this is exactly what I want to do.
Very 21st century of you.
Yes. Yeah. I never actually knew what I really wanted to do.
Amazing. And so when you did Google it, just sort of seeing what's out there, what did you see that sort of sparked your interest? What was the catch? Was it service? Was it perhaps serving abroad? What resonated with you?
Honestly, it just sounded really, really cool. I guess this is kind of crazy, but I always, watched television shows, cop shows. And
sure.
And I never really had found that thing that, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And then I found the Naval Academy, and it was just kind of like, it clicked. It was like, oh, this is what I want to do. This is the way that I can like be the best person that I want to be.
That's phenomenal. And how about for you, Wallace? What resonated with you when you started thinking about it? Obviously, your family had a history of service. Your father, served in public life and as a police officer. And what was it for you that really clicked?
For me, it was the opportunity. It's truly a great opportunity to go down to the Naval Academy. You get, of course, you get your education paid for. You don't have to worry about, any services. Everything's provided to you. But it was just a great opportunity not only to get a quality world-class education, but you get this. They say join the Navy, see the world, and it's truly join the Navy, see the world, see parts of the country you usually wouldn't see. So I saw that and I was like, wow, that's a good opportunity. Let me take it.
Amazing. So once you sort of discover that and you realize this could be an option for me, let's talk a little bit about what happens after that. Do you go to boot camp? Do you spend a year doing something and then join? Some people don't really know how this process works. So Nadia, for you were interested, you were a high achieving student, you wanted to go to the academy. What happens next?
So I applied and I didn't actually get in the first time.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I got rejected, and then I went to my second choice, Boston University, and I did an ROTC there for a year, kind of filling out my options because I actually didn't even know that you can we're midshipmen. You can be a midshipman in ROTC units. And so that's what I did for a year, and I reapplied. And so my two options were continue at BU doing ROTC or to be a midshipman at the Naval Academy. And I applied and I got in again. I got in the second time, and I decided to go.
So resilience and persistence pays off for sure. And how about you, Wallace? What was your path like?
So I had a little different path. Out of high school, I didn't go to the Naval Academy. I wasn't rejected. I went to the Naval Academy Preparatory School in Newport, Rhode Island. So I went down there, and that's a 10-month program down in Newport at Naval Station Newport. You live there.
Nice town.
Yeah, it's a great town. You know, the great beaches and
Naval
everything.
War,
out there.
the Naval War College.
Yep,
is there
it's
too,
right there. Stay on that same
Mhm.
base. They have a Service Warfare Officer School there too. So it's a big base. But you live on the base for a year. You go to school. It's basically a prep school year for your core classes. You're taking chemistry. You're taking physics. You're taking math. You're taking English.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a prep school year to get your foundation up. And then after that, you go down to the big school in Annapolis. So that's where I went after high school.
Fantastic. And now what is that transition like, Nadia, for you once you get to the schools in Annapolis? And what is the experience like when you're a new student, or in your case, I guess you sort of had a head start at BU and then you're coming in? And what is the day-to-day life for a midshipman at the U.S. Naval Academy?
So when you get in, you start during this summer program called Plebe Summer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like a boot camp, but it's a really midshipman-y version. So it's nothing like the fleet, but it is you're getting yelled at, and you're getting PT'd and that kind of thing.
PT is physical training?
Yes.
Gotcha.
And so you do that during the summer, and then your first year as midshipman, you're a fourth class midshipman,
Mm-hmm.
and we call them plebes, which is like the bottom of the barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Your life isn't really the best,
Mm-hmm.
but then after that you have third class, second class, and then firsties, our seniors.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got there, it was kind of, I had some experience to bring, but there were a lot of other people that had a lot more. Like there are prior enlisted people from the fleet that already know leaps and bounds more than anyone at the academy.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are people that went to NAPS who have like a certain skill set. And then me, I had different things to bring to the table. So it's when your class, as a plebe, you really work together to, give everyone all the information that you can
Sure.
give them, because, if everyone has the most information, then it makes your life a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure. You learn a lot about teamwork, I imagine, and being part of
Yes.
a unit and something bigger than yourself. And so, Wallace, when you're there, it sounds like from Nadia tells me, there's people from everywhere and all different backgrounds and experiences. And is it like everyone from across the country? Is it one part of the country? What's the student body like?
The student body, I mean, is probably one of the most. Of course, I don't have statistics on this, but I would say it's probably one of the most diverse in the country,
Mhm.
if not the world, because the way we have everyone from every walk of life, truly, and like the way the application process works is we have nominated candidates from each congressional district
Mhm.
in the United States. So you're going to have someone literally from every part of the United States there. We also bring in foreign midshipmen from abroad, and they come in and study. So you're coming in, you're having people from, not only different walks of life, different races, you're having people from different parts of the world.
Mhm.
And it's definitely fascinating. And it's kind of cool to see that because, if you grow up in the city your whole life, you see, of course, Boston's a diverse city, you see different types of people. But then you don't see any country kids, but when I see a bunch of kids walking
Sure.
around in cowboy boots, cowboy hats, I'm like, what's going on here?
Mhm.
So it's definitely cool. We have our roommates, switch as freshmen. When you're a freshman, your roommates switch multiple times a year. You move rooms and you're forced to live with different people.
Was it like a dorm?
Yeah, so we all live in Bancroft Hall. So yeah, Bancroft Hall is the largest dormitory in the world. I do know that for a fact.
Wow.
Yeah, so it houses the entire midshipman student body. So all 4,000 plus of us all live in that
Mhm.
in Bancroft Hall together. So you definitely
Now I know we have a lot of foodies down at this station. What's
yeah.
what's the food like?
King Hall. So yeah, everyone lives in Bancroft Hall and then
Yeah.
goes down to King Hall to eat. So lunchtime every day. It's the whole student body eating together. So it's not bad. I mean, it's Navy food. Some people want to say the eggs are powdered. It's not true. The eggs they're not powdered at all. I think they're pretty good. And it's all provided you great for free of charge. So
Sure.
you're never hungry at the Naval Academy. I like it.
Yeah, sounds like a good deal. So Nadia, have a favorite subject in your classes, or what? Tell me a little bit more about the coursework. What are you studying when you're at the academy?
So when you're a freshman, you take your core classes, which is chemistry, math, history, science, or history and English.
Mhm.
And then once you're a sophomore, you get to pick, or you pick your major when you're a freshman, but as a sophomore, you start to take majors classes. And so
in some ways, it's kind of like a traditional college experience. It's similar anyway.
Exactly. You have a major. You can be history. You can be an engineer. You can be. They have a ton of different majors, and you and everyone at the Naval Academy, no matter what your major is, graduates with a Bachelor of Science.
Right.
And so I'm an ocean engineer, and so those are my favorite classes right now.
Now you're gonna have to forgive my ignorance on this, but what does an ocean engineer do in the Navy? I guess that would probably be something you'll be doing afterwards.
So your major at the Naval Academy does not dictate what you do in the Navy, which is kind of interesting. You can be a history major and be a pilot. You can be a nuclear engineer and you can be a pilot. It doesn't matter what you pick. So your major it's more applicable to what you're going to be doing after the Navy.
I got you. And favorite class? If you had to pick one?
I really like physics.
Physics. Okay, cool. How about you, Wallace? Favorite class?
Definitely not physics.
I'm with you.
I saw that on my face when I was like, oh my gosh. But now for me, I mean, I'm a political science major, so I'm taking American presidency right now. I think it's an interesting class. My favorite class, definitely because of the professor. You know, you have another highlight of the Naval Academy is our faculty is pretty outstanding. So this guy was telling me, you know, he's showing us clips of him on national TV talking about his book he wrote, and then here he is sitting in class with like 18 of us. So
wow.
So yeah, it's definitely a good good opportunity to learn from guys like that.
So the book was about the presidency, or
the book was about, it was like a specific part about like how presidents use their time. So it was like it was an interesting, really in-depth study about, you know, how time is like money and literally how that clearly is applicable to the presidency. So it was interesting. Shout out to Brendan Doherty.
All right.
PhD. So you can look up his book.
Will do. Brendan Doherty. It's on the list. And a good lesson there is the most valuable commodity in Washington is time, as I think we've been reminded over the past few weeks. But so you go through, let's see if I got this right. So it's a 4-year program typically.
Yes, sir.
And you get to your upperclassmen years, junior, senior. What happens after that, Wallace, is you start to think, or you serve afterwards for a certain amount of time? What's the process like?
So, so I'm a second class midshipman. So when you enter your second class year, they call it, that's a big point in your career. They call it signing 2 for 7. So you sign the actual contract that says, hey, I have 2 more years of school here. The Navy's going to provide me 2 more years of school. And then in return of that, I have 7 more years of service. So that's 2 years of school left and then 5 more in the fleet. So you sign that paper. It's a big ceremony. They have a bell and they ring and you walk up and you do it. You sign it off and then now you're a second class midshipman. Now you got to go down and do the work that comes from that. So, and then, you know, after starting second class year, that's where things kind of start ramping up. You start, now that you're locked in, you have to start thinking about, hey, I want to do this. I want to do this. And they're going to have you do this, this, and this. And the process starts getting ramped up. And you start jogging up the hill, and then you start having to really sprint up that because it comes very quickly that end of the journey at senior year comes very quickly. And then, once you're a senior, you graduate, you commission, and then you go on to your regular fleet training. Sure. And then now your service starts.
Yeah. Now, Nadia, as I understand it, you have, and I should clarify this, that the U.S. Marine Corps also falls within the Department of the Navy. So you get to your senior year, and I do believe you get to choose between the Marines and the Navy. Is that right?
Yes. You get to choose Marines, and then Marines or Navy, and then within that, you can choose Marine Air or Marine Ground, or you can choose Navy pilot, you can choose submarine, you can choose surface warfare. So it's based on your rank as a midshipman and then some of the things that you've done while you were at school. But you rank your top preferences, and it's based on the needs of the Navy and the Marine Corps, but they try to give you what you want.
Any way you're leaning as you get towards the end of your program?
Marines.
Oh, I think you said Marines too, right, Wallace?
Yes, sir. I'm hoping.
All right. Well, this is a fantastic podcast because I too appreciate the Marines, and my good friend Seth Moulton would also appreciate this.
Yes, Congressman Seth Moulton.
As a former Marine, so glad to hear that. So you've just both described what sounds to me like you need 25 hours in a day to do everything that you're doing at the academy. Do you have any free time at all?
It's few and far between, the minutes you definitely feel. And I mean, of course, once you're doing it for a while, Nye and I have both been doing it for a few years now. you get used to it. It just kind of turns to your daily battle rhythm. But I mean, you are up early. And if you're working out before then, you're up early.
How early is early for those of us in civilian life here?
5 a.m.
Oh boy.
It's not, nothing too crazy.
What do you think of that, Josh? I don't know, man.
Yeah. It's like, if I'm not working out, maybe 6:30, sure. but it's not bad.
Coffee?
Yep, definitely get a nice cup in the morning. I have my nice Yeti. So
Navy coffee. There you go.
I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's truly, and you have your classes and your schedule's pretty much planned out for you. It's almost like a high school schedule, I would think. But you have your classes usually till about 3:30 in the afternoon. And you work out. If you have a sports team, you're on your sports team. You're doing that, and then have dinner. 6, 7 o'clock, and then it's study period until time to go to bed. Some people take it as they wish. They might study a little harder than others, might stay up a little later.
Sure.
But really, you have your sleep. If you want to get your 8 hours, you can do it, but there's not much time to be messing around during the day. Mm-hmm. So as long as you stay on that schedule, though, you get used to it. That schedule is packed.
Yeah, it's a lot going on. And Nadia, is it a chance to still stay in touch with family, like typical college life, and go back home periodically, or what's that like in sort of the other half of what can be a life experience, I guess?
Going back home is a little harder than usual.
Sure.
Because a lot of us, we even have we have Liberty on the weekends, and that's what it's called. And usually you have a Liberty radius, so we can't go outside a certain number of miles. And for freshmen and sophomores, we can't even leave until Saturday at noon. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit harder to go back home.
Sure.
And then you get Christmas and you get spring break if you wanna go back home then, but. Usually your summers are the times that you get to see your family.
Right. So is the calendar basically a typical academic year? So September to May, or what's it like?
Just about. We start a little bit earlier. We start, second and third week in August, start up. And then, we have 2 semesters, and then that's ending around April, and then graduation's in May. So, it's about the same as regular college.
Gotcha. And if there was someone out here thinking about maybe junior, senior in high school, thinking about what they want to do next, what is some advice that you would share with them and sort of help them understand about this experience? Anything in particular?
I would say if you're really committed to going to Naval Academy, or you're curious, even if you're just curious, do your research, reach out, and then, apply. I think some people want to say all the time, oh, I'm not smart enough. Oh, I'm not fast enough. Simply not true. If you just sit around and hey, I don't want to apply, you never know the answer to that. So for me, I was never the smartest student, but I worked at it, and you if you are somebody who wants to work at it, you'll be given that opportunity. And I think the Naval Academy is pretty good at finding those people.
Sure. Oh, that's great advice. And what do you think, Nadia? Anything else come to mind? If you were going back to maybe tell yourself something 3 or 4 years ago, what's something that you'd want to make sure that you were aware of?
I would say that you really have to work for it. I graduated high school, and I thought that I could get in wherever I wanted. And so it was kind of it was very humbling, this whole experience for me. And I learned so much, and I'm so happy with everything that I learned. But you really have to work for what you want.
Sure.
And if you want, something specific, then you really have to put everything that you have into it.
Great. So what's next for you, Nadia, and the next steps at the Naval Academy and afterwards? Any idea yet?
I'm kind of looking forward to my summer right now. The Naval Academy has a lot of really, really cool summer programs that a lot of mandatory trainings, but they're very exciting. So I'm looking forward to my summer right now.
Great. And how about you, Wallace?
My summer is going to be a pretty busy one. Last summer was kind of I had the mandatory enlisted cruise. I had that last summer. I was out in sea in San Diego for like 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks out to sea. I was out in San Diego for about a month, which was nice. And then I was back in Annapolis. I was on the Yard Patrol craft there, the little smaller boats. So that was cool. I got up to go to Cape May, New Jersey, Philadelphia. I got to take the boats up there, which is cool, practice some navigation. Then I had leave this summer. It's actually funny that we asked this question because it's kind of this is the time of the year that all those trainings start coming out. But for me, I got to go to leatherneck training down in Quantico, Virginia. That's Marine Corps officer selection training. So that's where our midshipmen go to see if they're going to be selected to be Marine Corps officers. have to do that. Hopefully I do that right after graduation, you know, bang that out, roll around the mud for a little bit. It'd be a good time. Then after that, I'm supposed to go. We're talking about Plebe Summer. I'm supposed to be a detailer for that. So I'll be one of the seniors out there training the new freshmen. So if I don't do that, I'm supposed to go to Italy, but which is one of the international opportunities that the Naval Academy's offered. But you know, needs of the Navy are that we have to get those trainings.
Of course.
So if that takes priority, it takes priority. But yeah, that's an option. And then we'll see if we come home for the summer. I don't think I'm having any leave this summer. It's going to be a pretty packed one.
Sure.
But it should be exciting, though. It should be exciting.
Great.
Yes,
Great.
sir.
And if to find out more about this process and, you know, what should a student be thinking about to join the academy, where can they go for more information?
usna.edu/admissions. If you go online, that's literally where everything is. Especially in the modern age, the Naval Academy is doing really well with getting that connectivity up for people. From there, you can see all the social media and stuff that they have: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. They'll have all those sites up there. You can go there, see the pages, learn more stuff, and then also that's where you can apply to. You can click the apply button, start the application up. Then once you do that, we have it's a pretty lengthy application process. But everyone's assigned a blue and gold officer. So a blue and gold officer, once you start that application, is going to be notified, and they're going to be able to reach out to you. And that person is a person who can have one-on-one contact with, who's going to walk you through that process.
Interesting. So a blue and gold officer, is that someone perhaps in your area of the country, or is it? Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely a person in your area of the country, and they're pretty much. I mean, they should be within a certain radius of your house. I mean, they're pretty close.
Wow.
So yeah. So definitely. Definitely an option.
It's fantastic. So Nadia, favorite experience at the Naval Academy so far, if you had to pick one? And it sounds like there's a lot, so I imagine it's a big list. So if there's a few, that's okay too.
I would say maybe sea trials. Sea trials?
What does that mean? That sounds like an exam.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's at the end of your freshman year. It's kind of, they call it the culminating event of your freshman year. And it's from about 4 a.m. until 1700, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And you are just running and doing obstacle courses and endurance courses and teamwork exercises and different physical things with your company for the entire day. And it is a really, really, really fun day.
Wow, phenomenal experience. And how about you, Wallace? Anything stand out?
For me, it's probably the summers. The summers are pretty pretty interesting. They're probably the most memorable experiences because we do go to a great academic institution, and everyone knows that. And during the course of the year, it's September to May, you're in academic mode, you're doing school. But in the summer, that's where you get your real training on. That's really cool. For me, last summer we already talked about going out to San Diego. That was a cool thing. It's all expenses paid trip out across the country to go. To go be in the fleet and go see how big Navy works. And then also for me, probably my best training was literally when I was on those YPs out in Annapolis, because of course I wasn't driving the big carrier that I was out on, the big amphib I was out. I'm not driving that ship. But when I'm back in Annapolis and I'm on the training craft and the yard patrol craft, I am driving that, and that was cool. To apply those navigation skills on the high seas, which is kind of cool.
It sounds fun.
Yes, sir. It was.
Man. So if I got this correctly, you get both an incredible education, a phenomenal experience. You get to know all sorts of people from all over the country. You get a terrific, career path. And then you go on to serve and really make a contribution to the good of the country. And it doesn't really sound like it gets much better than that to me.
No, it's a blessing, definitely.
So I'd like to thank you both for being here with us today on Main Street. Wishing you both the best of luck in your studies ahead. And maybe someday we'll see you down the line. But regardless, thanks for being here with us today.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.